All right, Santa's going to be here in just a few short days, and we've got our world-famous sports panel here with us tonight to talk about which Oilers players will be getting nice deliveries and which ones will be getting Coles. Guys, thanks for joining us as always. It's great having you in here.
Thanks for having us.
Let's start right here, sir. Santa drops off presents to the good. So which player have you really liked for the Oilers so far this year? Who's going to get a gift?
Well, there's so many to choose from, but I took Andrej Sekera.
Okay.
I think that he shored up that defense, which has always been the Achilles heel of the Oilers, and it's not that anymore. It's now become a much better organized group back there.
I think you make a good point, except it was organized when number 43 was on the blue line.
True.
You can take that back. You're getting Cole for that. How about yourself? Who would you go with for the player that's been impressing you so far this year?
Again, I agree that there's been a lot of impressive play with guys, but I would pick Cam Talbot. I think he's been a big reason for our success, and I mean a lot of our games that we've won have had to been one-goal games and games in overtime, and I happened to watch him in that Tampa Bay Lightning game, and I just think he's playing with so much confidence right now. I just love the way he's performing.
Yeah, he's been amongst the lead leaguers in minutes played, which is fantastic, especially when you have Gustafsson backing them up.
Big workload, yeah. So that's the thing when they're relying on him for a lot of minutes and a lot of W's.
All right, let's go to the third member of our panel, Bruce McCurdy. Where are you coming out on this? Who's giving out? We're serving a gift, a nice gift from Santa.
Well, I'll bypass the obvious Connor McDavid. And,
right, we should have said I asked you not to talk about Connor because that was too easy.
Too easy.
Yeah.
But Leon Draisaitl, my goodness, is still on his entry-level contract, and now he's in the top 12, I think, in the league in scoring with 30 points. He's really made the power play work, which was a big thorn in the Oilers' side for the first part of the season, but he's been pumping in the power play goals, and at even strength, even without Taylor Hall at his side like last year, he's really picked up his production rates and is producing big-time offense for the Oilers.
The way he's played this year, does it make you less inclined to want to see him on the wing?
Yeah, I think he's a center. I see him as a 200-foot player and strong in the defensive zone, strong in the face-off circle, which stands out on this team. So I would rather keep him in the middle if possible.
All right, let's get on to the gentleman who will be receiving Cole this year. Now, I'm going to skip you because you were rude to the host with the mostest in the house.
You're right.
We'll go right to you, Tyrel. Who are you going to hand out a piece of Cole to this year?
You know what? I'm going to pick a guy that I was a big fan of when he was with the New York Rangers, Benoit Pouliot.
Sure.
What really, I was excited when we acquired this player because I remember watching him in the playoff run, and he was a big, physical, fast, forechecking, strong body. Just looked like there was a ton of compete, could put the puck in the net, and then when he came to the Oilers, I was so excited for him, and then I see him now today, and it just looks at times he's disinterested. The penalties have been an issue. I know Todd's been pretty public about how he feels about his play and the penalties he's been taking, but I would say at this point Benoit Pouliot is kind of been disappointing for me. I'm a big fan of him as a player. But he just has to bring it every night, and I don't see that from him. Up until this point, 7 points in 29 games, just not where it needs to be.
Yeah, he's checked out. It looks like it.
It looks like that. Yeah.
Bruce, your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to cop out slightly, and I'm going to give 2 lumps of coal to the personal injury gods of Brandon Davidson and Tyler Pitlick.
Sure. Yeah.
Two fellas. I've been working at the Cult of Hockey since 2010, and the Oilers drafted both those guys that year. They were in the WHL, and so I watched them play as juniors, tracked their careers, met them, kind of pulling for them, and both guys, it's just one thing after another. Brandon had the cancer scare and a variety of injuries down the road. This year's game number 1 of the season, he got slew-footed by an 18-year-old rookie, spent 2 months on the shelf. For his part, Tyler Pitlick, he's had, spleen problem and all kinds of, again, wacky injuries that have set him back each and every year, I think, of the time he's been with the Oilers. Finally got a foothold on the team, playing great, got 8 goals, hitting, skating, moving the play north, doing everything right, and then last game he got tangled up, and it sounds like he's out for the long term. It's just so much, the effort that's gone into these guys just to make the NHL, how hard it is. Right. And after all these years to again suffer serious setbacks like this, it's just really disappointing.
Got to put you on the hot seat. Based on what you've seen this year, is he an NHL player going forward?
Tyler Pillock?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very happy with what I've seen, and he's bottom six player most likely, but he brings the goods most nights.
Yeah, well said. Well said. All right. You've been sitting here quietly. It's now your time to shine. Which player are you going to hand out a little piece of coal to?
Well, I had chosen two players, and I chose the two guys that have been here probably the longest, Nugent Hopkins and Eberle. And I'm cheering so much for those guys to get it going again because they've gone through the hard times. They went through the lean years, and not when you were there, of course, but you know. I know, sorry. But I would love to see those guys succeed and breathe that winning atmosphere and enjoy it and start contribute to it a little bit more. And goal scorers are goal scorers. They're going to still have it. They're going to find it. And I just want those guys to succeed here because, you know what, like I said, they went through some hard times.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins played a little bit on the wing last game, and it sounds like he may play again on the wing tonight. Do you like that move, Bruce?
I like it a little bit for him right now because he's less responsibilities. As a winger, you know, you just got to, you're not playing that full game all the way back in your own end, and you got that centerman coming back, and now he can, you know, kind of use he's got a great shot.
Sure, yeah.
And Draisaitl's a great disher, so I mean they could work well together.
Do you think that can jumpstart his offense? Because he's really been lacking this year. It's one of his lowest totals so far.
Well, I think I'm a huge fan of Nugent Hopkins, and yeah, I think this year they've kind of leaned on him to be more of a 200-foot player than more of a pure offensive guy. So maybe putting him on the wing and putting him in more offensive positions, I think he might do well. I mean, he's having trouble at times just because of the size and strength of some of the guys he's matched up against. But I mean, he plays the game the right way, and I mean, I've been a fan of his.
McCurdy, I can tell you've got something on your mind. Nugent Hopkins with McDavid. Do you want to see this happen, my friend?
Well, I'm happy seeing him with Draisaitl for now, and he played with last game. But sure, with McDavid, I used to think maybe Nugent in the center, Draisaitl on the wing, but now maybe more the other way, that Leon's stronger in the circle. And as you say, Nugent's got to get his offensive game jump-started. And he's been shooting the puck all right, but I'd like to see some of his playmaking chops. I think he's maybe a little lack of confidence or whatever, because he's a dandy playmaker, and that part of his game has kind of not really been there.
Yeah, it seems like it's trickled off the last number of years. You remember when he came in the Union that
Oh,
first
yeah.
year? It was ridiculous. He was throwing around pizzas for everybody. All right, guys, thanks a lot for this. Enjoy the holidays. We appreciate it.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, even though you're, you know, cold up. I know, it's hard. That hurt.
We got to be. We'll be back in just a few minutes' time. Lots more to come. I'll be nice to all the guests the rest of the night, I promise. Stay with us, Edmonton.